School of Business in Maynooth University is currently celebrating its 10th birthday, which makes it the youngest university business school in Ireland and one of the newest in Europe. Over the course of the school's development, we've not only tried to shape graduates with character who support the university's liberal approach to social responsibility, but also meet the real needs of employers and industry. Graduate recruiters increasingly choose the university and business school to recruit new talent, and in this interview I speak with Noel McGrath, who's Head of Investor Services at Centaur Fund Services and a Maynooth graduate, about Centaur's decision to recruit and develop graduates from Maynooth. In the interview, Noel speaks about the industry's requirements for new graduates, what makes Maynooth's graduate different from an employer's perspective, and what the graduating class of 2018 should consider when planning their next step. I began by asking Noel about Centaur Fund Services' history and their current position.
Of course, John. Yeah, thanks a million for taking the time to talk to me. Centaur Fund Services is primarily a company that services the alternative funds industry. We're very unusual in that we're a privately owned Irish company. We were founded in 2009 by three people who had ran and led a much larger organisation, which was the second largest fund administrator globally at the time, and they wanted to set up themselves. So Centaur Fund Services was born in 2009. There was only six of us to begin with, the three partners that owned the company, myself and two other colleagues. And in the 8 years that we've been going, we have now, I think we've 85 employees at last count. We've got 42 different clients. We administer 22.5 billion worth of assets. We have offices in Dublin, which is where we're primarily based, but we also have offices in Bermuda, Cayman, London, and New York. So our primary focus, John, is to service the alternative funds industry. Our clients are based out of a lot in London, some in Switzerland. We have some in Bermuda and a large number in the US. So it's a global business, and I suppose the financial services industry in Ireland, it's quite unique in that we don't actually service any Irish clients, and we never have any plans to service Irish clients. And this is what the vast majority of the financial services industry in Ireland represents. We export our services, for want of another word, in that our clients are globally based, whether they be in Asia, North America, or Europe.
Fantastic. I suppose you've mentioned that you have 85 staff now, and you've grown to that stage. You're still recruiting. Can you tell me about the specific current recruitment needs that you have?
Yeah, well, we like to be sort of ahead of the game. We like to recruit people in advance of winning business. We have a very strong pipeline of business for the next 18 to 24 months. As I mentioned, we have an office in Bermuda which we opened last year, and we're tracking a lot of business through that. And what we like to do, John, is to try and get out ahead of the game, in that we get the people in, get them trained up, and then when the business comes in, we're not scrambling. What happens a lot in our industry is that people win business and they're always sort of firefighting, then they're hiring 3 months after the event and stuff like that. Whereas as a business, we have always committed to our staff, and we try and get people in first, because we're confident the business will come. So we changed our tack last year. From 2009 to 2014, 15. And we only hired people with experience. We did that because we didn't feel we were strong enough to support graduates. We got to a certain size, and we felt, okay, well, it could be time to invest in graduates. We did this for two reasons. One, the way we operate our business is very different from our competitors, so people with experience weren't necessarily up to the speed that we thought they should be. And two, we felt that it was time, to invest back into society, for want of another word, and to start to hire graduates. And we've been absolutely delighted with our graduate intake. We took in 8 last year. We've taken in another 8 this year, and they've been fantastic. They've huge energy. It really does transform a business when you bring in young graduates, because it sort of shakes everybody up a bit, and they have that sort of hunger and desire, and for us, and will sound strange, but they haven't been sort of tainted by other companies, which is a strange thing to say, but they're a blank canvas, Whereas we see, graduates that have gone into the wrong, well, in our opinion, the wrong companies, for 3 or 4 years, and they're nearly beyond redemption at that stage. So we felt, let's get straight to the point and get them fresh out of college.
Mm-hmm. And you, within that group of the recent cohort, you recruited a number from Maynooth University. What was your experience with the Maynooth graduate?
Well, it's been fantastic. I would have a sort of emotional connection to Maynooth, having went there myself. Mm-hmm. In a different millennium, but so in 2016 we sat down. Early 2016 we sat down. We said, okay, we want to hire graduates. Where do we want to go? So Maynooth, DCU, Trinity, UCD were our main sort of points to go. So I spent a day in each of the 4 universities, and I have to say I enjoyed my time in Maynooth greatly. I had a great reception. We had a stand in the arts block, and it was very beneficial. So we received a lot of CVs from the different institutions. We also advertised on Irish Jobs, and it was sort of by accident, sort of by design. But we hired 6 people in total from Maynooth, 5 from the business and management course. And we did that. Well, we liked the candidates first and foremost, but we wanted to do that because we wanted to sort of, so they'd have a connection, which we think is very important, and they sort of work together as a team, when they came into the organisation. So it was a huge success for us, John. We were very, very happy with it. So this year, we just went to Maynooth, and we felt, okay, Maynooth is good enough. We think we've seen the calibre of graduates there. We couldn't be happier, so we thought, well, let's not waste our time anywhere else. So I went out to Maynooth for a day again. Earlier in 17, I think it was probably March time, I brought one of my graduates from the year before, which was good. She's since relocated to our Bermuda office. Mm-hmm. So we hired, we've 6 people now from the business and management course. We have still have 2 open positions, and we're doing second round interviews for those as we speak. So there's more Maynooth people in the frame for that, so we'd like to think that we'll have that boxed off probably by the end of next week. So that'll be I think at this stage it'll be a full intake from Maynooth, and we see this business will continue to grow. So for 2018, we're thinking of that stage now. Again, we will be primarily basing our search in Maynooth is the place of choice for us, and in particular, not to restrict, but we've certainly been very, very happy with the calibre of students and now employees that we've seen from the business and management course.
They're as the program director for the business and management for the last couple of years, I have to agree with you entirely. Just very, very high standards students, very nice people, and incredible work ethic. With that in mind, with the Maynooth students who are going to be facing into their final year this year, or even starting this year, who may be thinking of a career with Centaur, what advice would you give to them, to any students who might be interested in joining or applying to Centaur in the future?
Well, the key thing for us, John, is that people are aware of our industry. It's a strange situation. The funds industry is not something that a lot of people know about, and yet a huge amount of people work in it. At last count there was over 50,000 people work in Ireland in the funds industry. Now, as a private employer, that's massive. It stacks up alongside nearly any other industry, yet people aren't aware. So the first thing I would really urge the class of 2018, I suppose, is to do as much research as possible. To look at our industry. This is an industry that offers great potential careers for graduates. There's people like myself who are lucky enough to come into the industry, when it was in its infancy in the late 90s and early 90s. We were very lucky that we were exposed to this, but the careers have continued. The industry's gone from strength to strength, and Ireland is the world leader at what we do. So it's the centre of excellence. Other hubs such as Luxembourg, Cayman, Bermuda, they wouldn't be nearly as strong as Ireland. And so the first thing I would urge your class of 2018 is to get familiar with our industry, to do some research and to see what's out there. And then the second thing from a very selfish point of view, would be to look at Centaur as a possible employer. Our website is www.centaurfs.com, or they can even drop me an email. My contact details are up there on the website. So we're more than happy to talk to any undergrad, anybody at all that wants to drop us a line. We're delighted with the communication, and we'll certainly spend plenty of time going back to people. But yeah, the key thing, John, would be to really get to know what our industry is and to see the opportunities there. And it's not just Centaur, there's 73 different fund administrators in Ireland alone at last count. So it's certainly an area where there's great potential jobs.
Noel, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It's great opportunities, fantastic to see Maynooth graduates doing so well, and for them to continue to do well in industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, for your time. Cheers.